Hello, welcome to Zeens and Roger. This is a crochet tutorial showing you alternative methods of starting your crochet, and that is in relation to the UK treble stitch or the US double stitch. I've experimented and made a few different swatches and then come up with my two favourites. At the end of the video, I might just talk a little bit about the ones that I didn't like so much and have rejected. So before I talk about these, let's just have a look at a piece of fabric that I've crocheted, a little swatch, which I started my rows by chaining 3. What that does is create little holes at the sides of your fabric, which I don't like, and I know lots of other crocheters don't like either. We can create a much nicer edge on our work than this, so I'll show you how to do that. I've got a lazy version and a not so lazy version, basically. I worked all my swatches with double knit yarn and a 4mm hook. My first favourite that I use a lot is the lazy method, I suppose, and it is literally just to chain 1 at the start of my rows rather than chaining 3. The chain 1 though wouldn't count as a stitch, so you just pop a regular stitch in the first stitch as well. So I don't know if you can see the difference. Hopefully you can. This one, oh my gosh, gaping holes, you don't want those. No real gaping holes, maybe a few little little tiny ones, but nothing that's leaping out at me, you know, nothing that's causing me to feel uncomfortable about those edges. So this one is literally just to chain 1, which would not count as a stitch, and it looks like this. What I'll do is show you what I mean, and it's obviously, I mean, it's dead simple. So what I have here is a foundation start. I do have a separate video on how to work this. So I haven't chained, I've literally just done a foundation start in replace of a chain because I think it looks better and it's more fun to do. So I have my first row down already, and then to work a second round, I wonder if I can zoom in a bit. To work a second round, what I would do is just chain 1 nice and loosely, maybe pull it up a little bit as well, not crazy up here somewhere, just a little bit, so it's nice and loose, bit cash like, and then yarn over and make your first stitch in the first space, in the first stitch of that row. Just a normal UK treble, US double. That's all you would do, and then you would carry on with those stitches across the rest of the work. So it's super straightforward and super lazy. I love it. It doesn't restrict any stretch, not too much. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I like it, because it doesn't go crazy stretchy, but neither is it bunched in either. So I'm not going to finish this row. What I'll do is show you again here. So I would just chain 1 relatively loosely and then work my stitch in the first stitch. And that's all there is to it. Super simple. And also, it's not difficult to see that first stitch either. If you want to use stitch markers to denote the first stitch of each row, then obviously go for it. But I do find that actually it's very easy to spot. So you can see how loose I am, and actually that I'm very loose. It's almost the height of one of our normal stitches, so that's why it's not causing us any grief. But in a pattern, it would not count as a stitch. The first stitch would be the actual working of that, you know, yarn around hook, go in, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then it does create a decent edge. I don't have any objections at all. It's a pretty good one. So that's my lazy one. Let's do a stitch which is a bit more effort but looks just that little bit better. It's called a stacked start. In place of that first stitch, which would be a UK treble or a US double, instead of that you're going to work a little stack of US single crochets or UK double crochets. Without chaining one first, insert your hook into the first stitch and pull through that yarn. Keep the two loops on your hook nice and loose, and I like to sort of kind of pinch them apart with my thumb and finger whilst I yarn over and pull through. That will still keep them slightly separate, therefore easier to work in between, because what I want to do is insert my hook into the left leg like so, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. So you've made your stack start, and then you can do that again to create height, and that will be the height of the stitch that you want. Now what I like to do for my stacked starts is go through the left leg of that stitch. So if you've got two vertical lines of a stitch, it's this one. But I also like to just pop my hook into the loop behind it as well, just for a bit of stability. And that's, I'm happy with that. But if your stitches are quite short, then do it again. Because in theory, you can keep stacking those stitches forever and ever. And if you want, you can just go into the left leg without going into the back loop as well. I know that that's something that people like to do also. And so yeah, you could go on and on and on. So I'll show you how I would just do it normally without trying to slow it down at a real snail's pace. It's keeping those legs it's keeping those legs apart that really makes a difference. And then you just work normal stitches along. So if I turn my work here, just to show you again, oh, that one's super loose. I wouldn't ordinarily let that one slide, but you know. Oh, let's just work into the front. So it doesn't really make much of a difference whether or not you want to do front and back loops on that left leg, or yeah, want to just do one. And then again, it's actually a nice easy stitch to spot on that return. There we go. So that's a stacked start. But what I want to do is show you, I'm just going to unravel a couple of those, because what I want to do is show you how I would incorporate a decrease into that, because I do have a pattern called She Sells Seashells where I use the stacked start at the beginning of the pattern. And in that pattern, there are areas where you need to do 2 crochets together. so a decrease, and then sometimes 3 crochets together. So for that, what I did was start with the stacked start, like so, yarn over, and then before you yarn over to finish the stitch, yarn over and instead insert it into the next stitch, and yarn over and pull through, and then you would just do your 2 crochet together that way. In this instance, I would pop a stitch marker in there to make it easy to see when you come back to it, just so you don't lose your stitch count or whatnot, and then you would carry on. So that's a decrease using a stacked start, so like a beginning row stacked start, decrease. And then it would be the same if you were going to decrease 3 as well. So start with your stacked start again, pop your hook into those legs, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, 3rd stitch, in you go, and then you have successfully done a decrease across 3 stitches, and then you would pop your stitch marker into the top of that stitch so you don't lose it. Voila. So that was a stacked start, and the edge, here's the edge of that 3 chain with its ghastly holes, so unsightly. And then here is your stacked start, nice straight edge, 0 holes. So with a little bit more effort, wow, it looks fabulous. There we go. And then you get a cat hair for free as well. Oh no, 2 cat hairs. She's been on the prowl this morning. There we go. And then I did promise you that I would just talk about my rejects as well. The first one being, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it per se. It's just that I felt that there was a little bit of kind of, what's that called? Undulation, humply bumpliness down the edge. Like barely any, but it was just enough because the other ones didn't have that I went, no, I won't bother showing you how to do that one. But basically what it is just, instead of a 3 chain, you would work 1 UKDC, which is a USSC, and then chain 1. And you'd pop a stitch marker in the chain 1 so you could see it when you came back to the stitch. But basically that is in replace of a 3 chain, and it would count as a stitch. So if you fancy doing that and you found it super easy, then you could do that, no problem. The other reject was the no turning chain stitch, which is where you pull up a loop and do a twisty turny action and go back into the work. I really didn't like the twisty turny action. It felt really unnatural. And I've never used it in a project. Maybe I just need to get used to it. But I didn't feel like it offered anything extra special to warrant me using it. It doesn't have any resistance here, which is a good thing. But then, I don't know, let's look at the stacked start. That's pretty all right as well. There's a decent amount of stretch here too. So, it's not scoring higher points on that. But that twisty turny action, do you want me to show you what I mean? Because I didn't like it. What I meant by that twisty turny action is that you would pull up a loop that was about the height of a stitch and you'd put your finger on it. And then what you're supposed to do is go around it and under it to yarn over and then treat it like it's a normal stitch. But 1, oh my gosh, I found that really fiddly, and 2, and then you missed the first stitch because that counts. Because of that, it created, on some occasion, if I did it badly, a hole. And so it did not win me points, did not win any points for that. I'm probably not doing it very well because I've already decided I don't like it. But if you get on well with it and you like it, please go for it. Don't listen to me. But there is another way of doing it. It's an extra step which might win you over as well. So you would pull up that loop, do the twisty turny action around. That's the action that I didn't like. It was too, I have to lift my arm and do it. I'm not a natural at it. The one with the extra step in it to hide that hole, you would pull up that loop, do your twisty turny action, and then go into the first stitch and then finish it off. And I don't like this, but it eliminates that hole that was created by missing the first stitch because you've just worked into it. Oh no, it wasn't for me. But it looks okay. It looks better than the one where you don't put it into that first stitch. But my goodness, either I need to practice or I just don't like it. What do you think? Let me know if you love it and I'm just being mean about that stitch. I mean, maybe just a bit of practice. See, I can't even get it in the first stitch. I think my tension needs improving. Maybe, just maybe it would be all right once I got used to it. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like and subscribe for finding out all about my other tutorials and occasional podcasts for crochet too. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheerio. Bye bye.